Welcome to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast, episode number 13, Aluminum. This is the first episode of 2020, the year of our Lord. Also the year of the metal rat for the Chinese New Year. I'm your host, Jules. Let's get into it. I'm here with
Justice.
Let's go. First thing I want to talk about, congratulations to our contest winner. We announced that on Instagram. We have sent your Google Stadia, your exclusive Cool Black Nerd merchandise, and your Google Stadia Buddy Pass is on the way.
Yes, that was actually really fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. It was nice to see a little bit of interaction on the social medias.
Most of the time when we do stuff on social media, it's just funny, silly, goofy shit to actually interact with everybody. Considering how Stadia was received in 2019, I liked it. I was very much enjoying that.
I agree. I think so too. And you know, if it's people that have been listening to the podcast, I think probably gave a pretty balanced review of it. Like, may not be the best thing ever, but it's definitely not just garbage. I mean, it's something definitely worth checking out. I still think that's going to be the future of gaming, honestly. Mm-hmm. And as we go into 2020, I do want to say this before we just jump into the podcast. We are recording this on January 5th. That is 5 days into the new year. And I just want everybody to remember that just 4 days ago, we all celebrated the new year. We all were saying 2020, new year, new me. And I just want to remind you guys, you are 5 days into the year. What have you done differently than what you did in 2019? Just want everybody to take a little bit of time and think about that. And I want you to realize that even if you haven't done anything differently yet, it's only 5 days into the year. All you have to do to reach whatever goals you have, you just got to start. That's probably the best advice I've ever heard in my life. Just start. Whatever it is, just start. Because nobody knows what you may have. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody has different levels of expertise, but nothing gets done if you don't just start.
Praise him.
That's what I have to say about that. Justice, you got something for the people?
Hey, man, if you follow it on Say What Radio on any of the social medias, you know, one of the things that I will preach about that is motivation and inspiration. Get your ass up and get out and go do it. You can't be sitting there going, well, I don't have this. I don't have that. What have you tried? Well, you ain't gonna get shit. I know Jules said it more eloquently, but that is very much how I feel. I'm sorry. You're not gonna get what you want by not doing anything. Please do yourself the best favor, as Jules said, and just get up and go after your dreams, because there's no other way that you're going to be able to achieve it. Ain't nothing coming to knock on your door to bring you any prizes. Oprah not giving away no more cars. Go get yours.
Well, she might be, but you still got to get to her. So just start. You got to start to find Oprah so you can get a car from her. If that's what your goal is.
I still, I've been saying this for years. I'm 6 degrees separation to Oprah, and Jules knows that. I'm pretty sure he probably knows somebody who knows somebody who knows her.
I mean, I could figure it out. Now, the question is, could I actually get you talking to that second or third person? I don't know. But I could probably get you there. Anyway. We're moving into 2020, but first, I kind of want to close out some of the things we discussed towards the end of the year. I wanted to take some time to give you guys really like what I feel is a synopsis of the streaming wars, so to speak. Disney Plus came out. We know a lot of new services are probably going to come out in 2020. You had Apple TV also come out. Netflix has always been there. Amazon Prime is even also there as a streaming option for people. I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's a war at all. Amazon Prime Video comes with Amazon Prime. So if you're already paying for Amazon Prime, you get Prime Video for Netflix. T-Mobile offers Netflix for free to all of its subscribers. There's no cost. Even Disney Plus, brand new service. Anybody on Verizon gets Disney Plus for free. Apple offering Apple TV for free 1 year for anybody who buys an iPhone. So check this out. It's very simple. Let's just say you're a T-Mobile customer. You have Amazon Prime. So you got Amazon Prime Video. Being on T-Mobile, you have Netflix. You got the new iPhone. You now have Apple TV. Now, it can be tough to be on T-Mobile and Verizon at the same time unless you're some kind of, let's say, alternative business person.
Wow.
In high school, they were known as urban pharmacists. But anyway, so you don't have Disney Plus. Disney Plus is $6.99. So you are paying $6.99 a month, right? You have access to Amazon Prime, Netflix, Apple TV, and Disney Plus. Right now, these companies to me are not really competing against each other. They're competing against cable companies.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't think that we have a true streaming war yet. I think it will get there. But right now, I think they're all just trying to build up their own type of original content that's going to have you want to, for all intents and purposes, basically watch their channel instead of trying to watch Comcast or Spectrum or Time Warner or whatever it is you may have. It's just so many options to get these services for free that I think, yeah, for now, there's no competition. There is no streaming war. It's just figure out how it works for you to get as many streaming services as possible for the least amount of money. And right now, that's beating a lot of the prices that cable companies are offering.
Well, I'll say this. I agree with you on most of it. I do think it's a streaming war because you have everyone fighting to get a larger share. You have everybody trying to get their built-in base, as you were saying, since they're partnering with these other companies to be able to come into a package. I think the war, the full-on war, is going to come with the content given. Because right now, they're basically doing the same model that Netflix did in the beginning, which is giving you all the back catalog of everything that they have, and then giving you original content sprinkled here and there. Disney Plus is starting it right now with theirs, basically just pulling everything that they had on Netflix and putting it on their streaming service. And I think the only real reason it's not a war right now, well, I think it's a war, but I don't think it's like a full on, is because they're only doing this in the US right now. They're only fighting all of this right now in the US because a lot of the streaming services aren't even offered in other countries other than Netflix. So that's why they still have that larger share right now. But I think eventually it's going to get to the point where I don't know, Netflix is always going to be original content for the most part now, unless they're spending gazillions of dollars to keep that other stuff from other providers. And I don't really see why they would give that up right now, unless it's something like CBS Access on Demand. And I'm sorry if you're paying for that. Why? You watching Star Trek? What?
I guess that's kind of what I mean. Like whatever streaming options, like the big broadcast networks are coming out with right now, those services are not competitive, honestly. Man, it's just with so many options to me to get these things for free or to get them reduced. It's not even like a price competition to me. I'm sure there's people who are, would have to make a tough decision. This is probably definitely like first world problems, but it's not a tough decision, I think, for a lot of people to decide whether I need to cancel Netflix to get something else or whether I need to not get Disney Plus so that I can have Apple TV.
I think you're right about that because most people, they're loyal to whatever service. So if they start out with Netflix, unless Netflix did something incredibly wrong, which some people kind of felt like they did with some of the shows and programming that they offered at some point in time. But even then, I'm pretty sure they're probably still using somebody else's Netflix login, whether they want to admit it or not.
Right.
I think the issue kind of comes in for this, though, is the war is basically over the money. And that's just in general. You're right about it not being competitive as far as like what they're offering. I've been losing so much money this way and they just want to kind of cut off that spigot. But I don't really think that they're realizing that they're still making money the other way. It's kind of like what we were saying with loot boxes. It was fine the other way. It's just that now you're realizing that this person has become like a giant or this company has become a giant off of my money. It's just like there was a need. They filled it. What do you want? I don't really want to go back and forth and watching this now with you. So what are we doing? What are you offering? This is free for them, or I like the way this works. And I think that's going to be a lot of the stuff too. I didn't think about that until just now. People like the way Netflix works and they'll be just, well, I just have to do this and this and that. I can't stand how Prime Video works. I'm not going to lie. Trying to find something to watch through that shit.
I agree. Yeah, Prime Video definitely makes it hard to find things to watch. It's hard to tell what's available just with Prime Video and what you'd have to buy or rent. Mm-hmm. And I'll say this about Disney Plus. Disney Plus, to me, their interface, maybe for the first week, maybe 2 weeks, was a little bit rough. Now, I actually like it a lot. And maybe it's not quite where Netflix is, but it's definitely on par. I think the biggest thing that it was missing was to just resume shows from where you stopped. So for me, I started watching Clone Wars again, which is fantastic. But I'd have to go find like the episode that I stopped on instead of just being able to pick up where it left off. But now it does that. And I think Disney Plus is turning out to be fantastic. Even if I was in a situation where I had to make a decision, I would say Disney Plus is worth it. Disney Plus is worth $6.99 a month. There's just so many shows, at least for somebody, I'll say in our age range, there's so much nostalgia to be found there, along with stuff like The Mandalorian. I mean, like The Mandalorian has made me excited to see what else they have coming with this original content. I think what they've done so far, you can tell that there was a solid budget behind it. It may not be earth-shatteringly high, but it's good enough to make the show look good. The special effects look good. All the little cameos are dope. I think the way that they're tying it into the story without giving away too many spoilers is pretty nice. They held off on some of that, like how it ties into the overall story of Star Wars or how it really ties into the universe until the last maybe 2 episodes. And there's something that's definitely a detail that if you're not familiar with, you're going to miss it, but it makes a whole lot of sense. Hopefully you guys get to it. And maybe next time we discuss it, I'm just going to throw that spoiler out there. So spoiler alert for the next episode, just in case people haven't caught up to it yet.
One thing that I did see that I thought was interesting, though, considering Disney being Disney, them doing this, everyone knowing that this service is coming out, but they kind of stepped in it like really hard with this past holiday season. The Mandalorian was a hit show, or is a hit show for them. But one thing that you always associate with Disney is merchandising. This entire show was under such secrecy up until the release, or maybe even the week before, that they couldn't get any merchandise out. So Baby Yoda would have been something that would have sold the fuck out, or been that, I'm telling my age here, that Cabbage Patch doll, or that Teddy Ruxpin doll, or that doll that is just sold out during the Christmas holidays. But they didn't have any merchandise set up for it because they couldn't. It wouldn't have it in time. So now they have pre-orders and stuff that are coming out now, but I don't think it would be that buzz for it like it would have been had it been during the Christmas holidays, or I'm sorry, holiday season.
Holiday season.
Oh my God.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
Hello.
So I guess we have a special guest.
I put it in the chat. I was hoping somebody would like introduce me or like bring me in. So I was like, I'll just say something.
And I was about to, but okay.
All right, so go ahead. Go ahead. We have the infamous
this is going to be your thing now, because this is your third time doing this.
Second or third time just jumping in.
But this time I was listening ahead of time.
You know what? Yeah, that's okay.
I wanted to say something about for the Disney Plus. For me, I loved it when it first came out. I think the problem that they're going to have is nostalgia only lasts for so long. They're definitely going to have to come out with more. It's kind of like when they come out with the retro Nintendo games and Sega games. It's like when you buy it, you may play it for a little bit for that week or so. But once the nostalgia runs out, you kind of look for something new. And then eventually the nostalgia will probably hit you again, maybe like a year or sometime down the road when you haven't played it in a while, you haven't looked at it in a while. But I think Disney Plus is going to run into that eventually as far as nostalgia is concerned. You'll still have the kids. People with kids will always have a reason to have Disney Plus, which is what they always bank on. They've been living off of kids for the longest. But as far as for me, like, I think I watched too much of it when it first came out, and I watched all of my old stuff, all of my old movies, Goofy movie and all of that stuff. And now I probably haven't looked at Disney Plus in a while. The nostalgia is what's bringing people to it, but they're definitely going to have to come up with some, because they have other original content on there, but it's just, besides The Mandalorian, it's just not good.
I can agree with that. Right now, The Mandalorian is definitely hands down the best original content that they have on there.
What is the other original content that they have? Lady and the Tramp?
There's a Lady and the Tramp is with the live action Lady and is one of the new original content. But yes, there's some documentaries on there.
Some movies. Anna Kendrick has something. I remember seeing her on like one of the front. She had some Christmas movie.
Holiday movie came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, at least from what I've been reading online, 2020 is going to start the new shows coming onto the service. So maybe 2 of the Marvel shows will come this year. You're going to have the second season of The Mandalorian. And in 2021, even more Marvel shows. The Mandalorian will be back. They're talking about they've confirmed they're bringing back Clone Wars.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So there's a lot that's coming. But yeah, to Dee's point, you actually are correct about that. I didn't even consider that for a lot of people, nostalgia is only going to last so long. I'm just so Star Wars fanboy that I'm going to watch all of that all year. So,
and I will tell you the other thing that when it comes to the streaming services, I know they all have contracts with like the stuff that they have in their library, but it sucks for the fans a lot of times because, like, for example, for me, I watch Amazon Prime. One of the things that I used to watch on there, like every now and then, was like the 24 series. Even though it's an older series, it was like the only place you could find it. And it's such a long series that you can constantly like watch an episode here every now and then like just can continue to do that. I found out January 1st, fucking 24 moved to Hulu. And I hate Hulu. Hulu's terrible. I hate it. I do have Hulu only because of the Disney Plus bundle. But that Disney Plus bundle of Hulu comes with advertising, like commercials. So like every time it goes on, like it's like 4 or 5 commercials during each episode. And they get increasingly longer with each commercial. So like the first one's 30 seconds, then the next one's 45 seconds, and then the next one's 50 seconds. Then the next was like 75 seconds. It's frustrating. As a consumer, I would have liked for it to stay on Amazon Prime, but it just sucks that these shows jump from platform to platform based on who gives them the most money for putting their content on there. And that's the only crappy part. It's like, it's not even a price thing, but it's like, okay, I bought Prime for this particular thing, and all of a sudden Prime no longer has it. Or I bought Netflix for this particular series. If it's not an original content, you have to be wary that it could go to another platform.
Well, that's going to be the norm, unfortunately, going forward. That's what I was saying. Because
that's how it's going to be. Yeah, unfortunately.
Netflix they can't keep buying that stuff all the time unless they lock it down with a ginormous number, but they're going to keep kicking out this content like crazy, unfortunately. And it's just going to be customized to Netflix, basically. But yeah, I ran into the same issue that you did as well. I used to watch, The Closer on Amazon Prime every now and then. And it's like 7 seasons or something like that. So I would just watch it every now and then and catch up. Then I got to the last season, whatever it was. And I went over, it was January 1st. I was like, ain't this a bitch?
Yeah, it sucks. I was literally watching episode 3, New Year's Eve. And then when I went back New Year's Day, like January 2nd, where it's like, do you want to buy or purchase? I'm like, no, it was on here yesterday for free. Why would I buy it? And I was like, so where did 24 go? So I had to look it up, and I found out Hulu had it. I was like, oh no, come on, man. I can't do this with Hulu. So where did 24 go? So I had to look it up.
I will tell you my problem with Hulu is the ads. That would actually be my problem with any streaming service. And honestly, the only problem I have with it is sometimes, internet connections are not the best, and the shows will start buffering or stuttering a little bit. I ain't never seen an ad stutter or buffer.
I think those are like preloaded.
They are always in 4K HDR plus. I don't know why they get them ads right, but the shows stutter. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I just don't like Hulu, and I'm leaving it at that.
Well, speaking of bad stuff like Hulu, 2019 is over. We talk about movies a lot. I think it would be nice to have a brief discussion about best and worst movies of 2019.
Let's start with worst.
All right. So Gemini Man is, to me, hands down the worst movie of 2019. Will Smith fell off, man. I don't know what else to say. When he came out with that, what was that, After Earth?
Oh, God.
I mean, honestly, really since Wild Wild West, but I'll shoot him some credit. Since After Earth, man, it hasn't been good. He continued that legacy for sure with Gemini Man. I mean, the little technology they had to make him look younger, it was okay, I guess.
That was my problem with it.
The actual movie itself, that was awful.
Yeah, I thought that they focused too much on the actual technology and didn't give a damn about the story.
Mm.
And even the special effects were trash. It looked like a sci-fi movie.
Like
a movie that was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Good?
Sci-Fi Channel.
No, not sci-fi movie. Like
Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay.
Yeah, FY movies. It looked like that kind of budget, like Sharknado. Not that bad, but you get what I'm trying to say. It wasn't for a blockbuster film. It wasn't the level of special effects that you would expect.
Okay, all right.
Wasn't good at all.
Well, he was actually in another movie, Spies Like Us, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't even know that.
Talking about the animated movie?
Yeah. The animated movie. I know it's out. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned, but I know it's out there.
I will give him credit for Aladdin.
Okay.
I'll give him credit for Aladdin.
Aladdin was surprisingly good.
Yeah, that surprised me because I had my doubts going in.
And I will say this, that first 5 minutes where he's singing.
Oh, no, that was terrible.
Like, this movie's going to be trash. But they picked it up. They picked it up, though.
I had the exact same sentiments. For them to be able to pick it up after that, because as soon as the movie started, he started that, I was like, why? You could have just had the original Arabian Nights song. You didn't have to have him singing it.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah, man. Let The Weeknd sing that or somebody. Anybody.
Okay. So there were a lot of bad movies that I did not like. One was Curse of La Llorona. One thing about me is I do like horror films. I do like mysteries, thrillers, all that. And I love history as well. So I like lore. I like urban legends because that puts them both together, stuff like that. Curse of La Llorona is an old, if I'm not mistaken, Mexican story. It's of a woman who basically, don't ask me why, but she killed her kids in a river and now cries at the river or the bridge that she killed her kids and basically tries to take other people down to that river and drown them as well. Somehow or another, somebody said, let's turn this into a movie. I don't know why. This is the the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it ends up being in the end, spoiler alert, I don't care because I'm pretty sure this is something that you're not going to ever watch. They kill her with a mirror.
Huh?
Exactly.
Oh, so
she sees
the
herself.
Ghost
died? She sees herself. The mirror cracks. She stabs her with that. So you sat here running from this chick for an hour and a half in some of these stupidest jump scares. And that was all you had to do? Terrible movie. Another one. Jules may have a different opinion, but I'm sorry. Just
Men in Black.
No, Glass. I just not with that movie. You've built all of this up and everybody dies in the worst fashion ever.
They died with all their weaknesses.
From a clandestine group that does not want the information of that superheroes exist out there. Yeah, no. Sorry. Next one.
All right. Yes, I disagree. I thought that movie, I would actually probably put that one on my underrated list, but continue.
Terminator Dark Fate. I've never in my life been so pissed off at a movie. It was supposed to retcon everything from Terminator Genesis. How did
you mess up Genesis?
The way that they spelled it, because that was just stupid. Again, could not understand it. That movie made me mad as well, but nothing made me as enraged as I was when I got pulled to see Lighthouse. I sat through a movie. It was 2.5 hours long or something. And I couldn't tell you what went on. No, just a bad movie. And I know it hit a lot of people's best movies list or whatever because it was shot in black and white and it was also shot in standard format and everything like that. And it was supposed to be more, cinephile. Like, I could not tell you anything about that movie other than it was exact garbage.
Oh my.
So those are my worst.
As you were saying that rant, I remembered exactly what my worst movie was. And I think I had went on a rant in the fellas room about it. And it was that dumbass Midsummer. Fuck.
Oh yeah, you did go on a rant about that movie.
That movie was awful. Awful. And I was upset at Jordan Peele for recommending it. He lost points in my book by recommending that dumbass movie. It was not creepy. It was not scary. It was not good. There was nothing positive to take home about that film.
I will say that it is an acquired taste. That movie isn't.
So you liked it?
What's the acquired taste, Jessica?
I'm not saying I liked it. I didn't say that at all. I would just say that it is a movie that's supposed to like make you think and make you feel certain things. In some aspects, it does, but in most of them, I will agree with you. It wasn't done right.
I didn't see the movie. Based on the rant from D and several others, I figured that it's probably not a movie that I would be entertained by.
All right, so let's go on to, you want to do underrated or best next?
Let's do underrated, because I was going to say, a movie that kind of surprised me, I think I'm surprised that I ended up enjoying was, dang, how did I forget it? Forgot my damn movie.
Well, I can go while he's looking.
Go ahead.
Alita. I thought that was a really good movie. I didn't hear much about it. I remember the marketing, but once it came out, I didn't hear much about it like after that. It was a really good movie, and I without spoiling it, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I am expecting a great series out of it.
I enjoyed that movie a lot. And actually, so for me, I got a couple of underrated movies here. I found I'm back on my list. Good Boys. Thank you guys for directing me to that movie. That movie. Very funny. Surprisingly funny. I didn't think it was going to be something that I would like, but it was actually pretty funny. It was well done. Another one, I'm not even sure a lot of people saw this movie, but I really liked it, was Long Shot with Seth Rogen.
Oh, yeah.
Thought that movie was absolutely hilarious. Man, there's some movies that came out at the end of the year that I'm looking through here that I would say were probably underrated, but I feel like they were so close to the end of the year that it doesn't count this year. So for me, even though I did talk a little smack about it, Hustlers was actually, to me, underrated. It was a pretty good movie. And Queen and Slim. I've heard I've heard things on both sides of the aisle about Queen and Slim. And I actually just recently had a long conversation with one of our friends about it. He went into the movie looking for like this big message to come out of it. And I guess with some of the marketing, I could see that you expected it to have some sort of message about, I guess, the life and times of people, in the era that we're in. I didn't go into it that way. I went into it expecting to see Bonnie and Clyde, and that's what I got. And it was just a very entertaining movie. outside of that, some of the things that happen in the movie, especially as it relates to, honestly, the Black community, there's some discussions that need to be had about what's right, what's wrong, what you should not do. I'm of the mindset that I'm not sure that that's what that movie set out to do. I think it was just part of the story. But if you did go into it with that mindset that he had looking for this big message, I could see how, depending on where you fall, you may not like the movie. And that's why I say, to me, it's an underrated movie, because outside of whatever message people may have been looking for, I think it was a very entertaining story. I think everything in it was well done, especially the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack in that movie was absolutely perfect.
I really did enjoy Queen Slim.
And it's crazy. I was expecting action movie. It wasn't even really an action. It was a love story. Hey, I'm not the love story guy, but that was a damn good movie.
I had said Alita, but I also finished it off with Crawl, which was Crawl was
good.
It's a very good, low budget film that most people probably haven't heard. It's a pretty good film. Keeps you on the edge of your seat most of the film. It's a good story. I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it and watch it again. And my other one would be Little Monsters. Little Monsters with Lupita. Most people don't even know about it or heard about it, but it follows her as she's a school teacher trying to protect her class, essentially, after what seemingly turns out to be like some kind of breakout of zombie apocalypse. And she's trying to shield the children from what's actually happening. So you can imagine them going on this journey where she's doing a lot of things that you would do with kids, and involving like the zombies and whatnot to try to make the kids think that there's nothing really going on. So it was like a horror comedy.
Okay.
I remember seeing stuff about that, but I didn't know it came out.
Yeah, it was a very original thing, because, I mean, you don't really think about what you would do in that situation if you had like kids around. Most people would just explain, hey, yeah, there's things out there that's going to kill you. Stay away. But this person, obviously, while protecting them, she was still keeping them innocent, not letting them know like what's actually happening. So she was just it had all these different scenarios that came up that was pretty funny movie. Interesting. I would definitely recommend it.
I wanted to see that, but like I said, I did not know it came out. All right. For my underrated, you guys basically took a lot of mine, which was Queen and Slim, Good Boys. And it's, of course, the Queen and Slim soundtrack was what I was going to say, is if anything you heard about in music, that soundtrack is just like amazing. You can listen from beginning to end. I was really surprised at that.
Let me just jump in real quick. We're probably talking about literally the soundtrack that you can go like stream jams, and also the stuff that's just in the movie that's not on that soundtrack. Like, it's just perfect. That needs to get an award.
One of the movies that I thought was underrated. Well, I think it was kind of like Crawl. People were talking about it. People knew about it, but it didn't garner the attention I think it should, considering it was such a good movie. Ready or Not.
Yes.
So it starts off as this girl, she's getting married to this guy, and the family is insanely rich. They're getting married at their house and at his house, and the family is just a little bit off. But when you're getting married to rich people, a lot of people tend to think that richer people are a little bit off-putting. They're not in touch with the world. So it makes sense. Once they're married, everyone comes up and says, oh, you have to come to the parlor or whatever the fuck it is, and we're going to play a game. She pulls a card from this box or whatever, and the card is hide and seek. Now, apparently, on wedding night, this is a tradition with the family where they just pull a card from these boxes. Sometimes it could be checkers, could be backgammon, whatever. It's actually games, because the family made their money in games, board games specifically. She pulls hide and seek, and this basically means that the family must now hunt and kill her to appease a tradition. Otherwise, they'll lose out in some curse or whatever. When you hear that, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen You're Next, which is an amazing movie.
Fucked up movie.
It's fucked up, but it is an amazing movie. It's similar in that fashion as far as kind of like horror comedy, survivalist type thing. And Ready or Not really was a good movie. And if you slept on that, go watch it on, I believe you can buy it, and like we were saying before, rent it or buy it on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds like something I'll have to try to check out.
Another one, and this is just me because I've been one of those types of people. I've always loved like R.L. Stein and Are You Afraid of the Dark type stuff. But another one was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That was another one that was underrated. I loved it as a kid, loved it now. And then it had a little twist on it for like the older generation. And the last one was Dr. Sleep. That actually was a movie that I liked. As I said, I like horror movies. The Shining was good, but I did like the book better. And The Shining that Kubrick didn't really follow the book as much. This kind of brought the two together, and it really was a well done movie. I was actually surprised at that. And I don't think a lot of people talked about it either. But yeah, those are my underrated. Oh, and like I said, Good Boys and Long Shot. Long Shot actually was a really good underrated. I was really surprised that not a lot of people were talking about that, but I think that was one that everybody should actually take a look at.
I agree. I think that was going to surprise a lot of people. And I know that we said, or earlier talking, we were saying it's kind of tough to say something was the best movie of the year, but I have a movie that I would say was my most pleasantly surprising movie of the year. Shazam.
I was going to say, I was literally thinking, should I put that on the underrated list?
Yeah, I don't know that it goes on the underrated list, but that movie surprised me. That was a damn good movie. DC is not known for making good movies, guys.
Especially not those kind of good
movies. Definitely not that kind of
They're not known for making good studio movies. Their animated movies are amazing. Studio movies tend to be crap.
Yeah, their studio movies are usually have been good when they were dark, like The Dark Knight and stuff like that. They haven't made one like the Marvel type formula where it's like comedy and joyful and you're still somewhat kind of dark as well. Mm-hmm. That was the first time they were able to incorporate both, all of those together. It brought up some good points too in movies that you hear that you always ask yourself all the time and stuff. And like, I still love the conversation part. The conversation when they were in the air flying. That was still hilarious to me said because it made so much sense. Like if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin that. You'll know what part that I'm referring to because when it happens, you're like, yeah, this shit doesn't make any sense when you hear it in movies, when you see it in movies. Whatnot, but it's pretty good.
That was actually one of my high mark lists because, like you said, I don't think it was underrated because it still made like $1 billion, but it was one of the ones that I really thought was a really good one. My Name is another one. Mm-hmm. Parasite.
Is my name.
Right. I was so happy that I got turned on to Parasite. That was such a good movie. John Wick.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that was actually going to be like my second surprise movie. It was a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought that was going to be very awful. It was not.
Well, trilogies really usually are. Third one is usually bad. So
and I wish I could think of the actor's name or even the character's name off the top of my head, but the guy that he fights towards the end of the movie, hilarious.
The guy that he fights towards the end of the movie?
Mm-hmm. So obviously it's like Assassin chasing him down, but he's so reverential to John Wick. He's like, at the beginning of the fight, he's like, I just want you to know it's an honor to fight you. And then he wins and he's still just like, he pretty much is like, will you autograph my chest?
And that's
it was just know his name. Well done and funny.
Let me look it up. I thought it was Chow Yun. My bad. Hold on. Look it up.
I guess further the law prize movies for me, Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. I thought that was going off of the previous one when they came up. They gave me exactly what I wanted in that movie. Like when Godzilla's King of the Monsters gave me exactly, like 100% exactly what I was looking for to that movie. I wanted more monsters. I wanted monster fights. That's exactly what they gave me, and I loved them for it. It was a very good film that I thought wouldn't deliver when it got announced. I figured it was going to be more crap about the humans. I don't care about the humans. I only cared about the monsters, and they made this one more about the monsters than the humans. I like that.
Yeah, Godzilla. I agree, man. When that movie came out and I saw it, I tried to tell people like, hey, man, this is a Godzilla movie. Ain't no story. If you're looking for a story, it probably not even going to make sense.
Yeah,
it does not.
But the monsters and the fights, that's what you came to see. That's what you're going to get. And they're going to set it up so you can get more monsters and more fights in the next one. And that's what I want from Godzilla movies.
Yes. That's exactly what I wanted. And they delivered it. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for it. I like the monsters and everything, but I'm sorry, that's crazy ass story. Seeing it in the movies, I saw it in a different type of format where the movie actually came out onto the sides of the screen. I mean, the sides of the walls. So when Mothra actually opened up her arms, that looked amazing. And a lot of the visuals and everything in that was amazing, but that story made no sense. No sense whatsoever.
I don't even know what the story is right now.
Why would you even pay attention to the story in a Godzilla?
Because I was on a date and the date was boring. So I needed something to keep me from falling asleep. There wasn't enough action in there to do that.
What?
Sorry.
That film was 95% action. 5% story.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it.
I agree. But hey, I also can say for sure, whatever that story was, because I don't remember it, I do remember saying it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I got what I wanted.
Man, all right, let me look through. I'm looking through a list to see if there's anything else that jumps out at me here.
I don't know how many people have seen it yet because it did come out towards the end of the year as well. But Ford v Ferrari was a really good as well.
Yeah, I heard that it was a good one
with Matt Damon and Christian Bale, who pretty much telling the story of how Ford came about in the racing circuit. Because I don't know if many people know, but before the 60s, Ford was like a joke when it came to race cars, like building something that's a powerful race car. But it tells the story leading up to what most people know as like the Shelby. Most people know that name when it comes to Shelby. It gives you the history leading up to that and what happened with the big duel between Ford and Ferrari and like one of the big circuit races back then, or still to this day, the Le Mans, which is a 24-hour race, literally a 24-hour race, which is insane. It was a pretty good film. I learned a lot. Even my dad, who's big on American cars and whatnot, there was stuff in there that he didn't know. And he was born a very long time ago. We'll give his age, but way before that. But it was a really good film. And it's crazy that I didn't realize that all of these car makers, majority of them, at least 90% of them, are just named after people. I know it's common sense for some people. For me, I didn't realize that.
Well, why would you? I don't think anybody would, honestly, unless you're somewhat of a car person.
Yeah.
It's not something you would know.
They're just named after like a lot of the manufacturers or racers that were driving the cars, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. They're making innovations within this genre, so why not? I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we have Tesla. So this man was integral in so many different parts of just society, and most people don't even know that.
And I think to this day, now that I know that Ford is still the only American car to this day that has ever won the Le Mans. Or the American car has had that privilege.
Oh, wow. Now that I did not know.
Yeah, that was a fact that came out of there.
I'm not even sure the other ones even try.
Well, I'm trying to think of another American-made
Dodge and Chevy.
Yeah, Dodge.
Chevy. I'm trying to think of one other than a Corvette, but it's not very many. Yeah.
Well, those are like street cars, like the ones that race, like GT Mach 2. You wouldn't see that on the road ever.
Okay.
It's not a street car.
If you think the Cybertruck looks crazy on the road, you would think these are just as ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you just saw it outside in the street. Let me ask you guys this, because we had a lot of interesting superhero movies come out this year. I know we said Shazam was for me, that's probably the most surprisingly good movie of the year. But did you guys have any favorites from those, any worse from those?
I was not a big fan of Captain. Thought that was okay.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I thought it was okay at best for me. I wasn't a fan of it.
It was too much of pushing it down your throat type thing to me for Captain Marvel. Hellboy sucked. Yeah,
Hellboy sucked. Far From Home was good. I like Far From Home. I don't know if y'all consider this a superhero movie, but I guess it's in the same DC universe, but I wasn't a fan of Joker. I didn't like Joker.
I didn't either.
I like Joker a lot.
So can I use animated movies?
I mean, yeah, why not?
All right. Batman with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. That was definitely
that was amazing.
It gave me something that I didn't even know I wanted. Like when the Batman and Shredder fight, I was like, I didn't even know I wanted this, but now that thinking about it, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, like you got two ninjas from my childhood going like, it was awesome. I loved it. That was a very good film.
Hush, Batman Hush was good too. I didn't like the Wonder Woman one that they did, but it was okay. But yeah, I didn't care for Joker. Brightburn was okay.
I like Brightburn.
Brightburn was okay. It was some stuff in there because the mom, it's honestly what just pulled it out for me. It was just like, how are you this stupid?
Well, yeah, it was definitely a lot of dumb moments. And the thing which is what Superman struggles from as well. The problem with Brightburn is the kid looks unstoppable. Like at no point was I like, oh, they have a chance to win or they have a chance to stop this kid. I've never had that feeling. I was like, what can you do? So you just felt like helpless watching the movie. Like, well, I know how this is going to end because there's nothing that they can do. And that's what a lot of people going into Superman movie.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah, I can do is agree with all of that. Brightburn, I enjoyed Brightburn, but I agree. He's unstoppable. I don't know what you do. I hope they make more movies. That movie was obviously set up to create like the Brightburn Justice League of Death.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do actually continue that. I'm curious to see what other evil child versions of superheroes they come up with.
Oh, they had actually They teased that at the end, kind of like a Justice League thing.
I don't know that the movie did well enough for them to continue it, but hopefully they do.
Well, it depends on what they made it on. You know what? I take that back. My worst movie, I take that back. I just thought about this because of the actress. So Elizabeth Banks is an actress who's the mom in Brightburn. I've always kind of liked her as an actress because she's silly, talk shit, and she was a goofy girl at the end of 40-Year-Old Virgin that he was always trying to get with at that store. She recently made her directorial debut in Charlie's Angels. I cannot say how stupid that movie is.
I don't even know why did they feel the need to bring that back. I didn't even bother watching it. It looked trash from the trailers.
I didn't see that one either. That was definitely not one I was interested in seeing.
I'm just going to agree and say it probably is very much trash, and I won't disagree with anything you say about that movie.
And another thing that I thought was great, as just in general, in 2019 that I knew was coming, was kind of iffy on how they pull it off, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think they did it really well.
I need to see the finishing. They need to finish it for me.
Oh, that's true. I forgot. But I like leading up to it. Everything that they've gotten so far, I like it. Half those other shows I don't even watch, and I was watching for that.
Yeah, there was this one, unfortunately, hasn't, maybe a little off topic. This is something when Jessica brought up the animated movie. Made me think about, because I did see the trailer, Superman Red Sun, that comes out this month, which isn't 2019. But I don't know if anyone knows, but has anybody ever thought about what would have happened if Superman had landed in Germany, in the Soviet Union, as opposed to America?
They did a comic book.
I got the comic book.
That's Red Sun.
Right yeah,
that's Red Sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you imagine how scary that would have been?
Well, how the fuck do you think people feel who don't live in America?
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this, D. That is the reason I'm not a fan of Superman. It's exactly what you said about Brightburn. He's unstoppable. There's no stakes in any of it for me. And maybe that's something we can dive into on another episode. But Superman, whatever, bro. You just make up power whenever you get ready. So his weakness is kryptonite until he just decides, literally just makes a decision. I'm no longer weakened by kryptonite. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. It did it for me when he absorbed the solar energy from that plant that time where he was dying and he grabbed the plant.
Oh no, the moon is out. Maybe if I crawl through the grass with some sort of reverse photosynthesis, I can absorb the energy of the sun from the grass. Yeah, he's ridiculous. Superman is ridiculous. There's no stakes. They need to put him back in the hero box.
Fun fact, prior to, I want to say, like, it was years into it, he didn't have any weaknesses. And the only reason why they wrote in a weakness is because they had to make him sick, because the head writer for it was sick that week and they needed to have a break. So that's where kryptonite came from.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
Well, that's the funny thing is when it comes to stuff like that, what's Wonder Woman's weakness?
Why is this important? We're talking about Superman.
I know, but when it comes to overpowered
Wonder Woman's weakness,
she's like the only one that has no You remember when Batman came up with all the plans to take down the Justice League? You remember what his plan was for her? To make her fight herself until she could no longer fight anymore.
I don't see what the problem is.
That was the weakness, is that she can't turn down a fight. So he was just going to make her fight until she just couldn't fight no more. Because she has no weakness.
I don't see why.
I hear you, but I'll say this. She can't just decide to not fight herself. Like Superman can just decide at a moment's notice, like, you know what? They got all this kryptonite around here. Starting to feel a little down. You know what? As a matter of fact, kryptonite now makes me stronger. So
I will give you, she can't create new powers. That's about her powers do have a fine limitation.
That's really what I was going to say. I know it was a little joke, but that's really what I was going to say. She has a limit. You know what I mean? Like Superman has no limit. That's for me the thing. Like,
give him a red sun.
I mean, without spoiling that comic, I'm just going to say.
Well, no, like an actual red sun, like a red solar.
That's what killed him on Krypton.
Did he die?
That's what killed the planet.
Because they sent him away. He would have died.
Did he die?
He did not.
Okay. Next question.
Well, he's died more than once. So.
Hey, did he die?
But you know the more baffling.
Was he refreshing himself?
He was refreshing himself. But I will say this, though. Even Stan Lee agrees with me on this. The Batman Superman shit is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense that Batman should have any chance at any given time he could kill Batman. Even Stan Lee was like, I don't understand. So it's like if Batman is like in his bed sleeping and Superman decides to kill him, he couldn't do it? Like without him even blinking?
Both of their moms are named Martha.
Oh my goodness. Fuck that movie.
That's the weakness. Superman does have a weakness. His mom is named Martha.
He's an emo. Remember how he was just sad because everybody was mad at him?
Well, Batman's a psychopath.
The man dresses up as a bat. How is he not a psychopath?
Everyone in the Batman universe is a psychopath, including him. He fights a bunch of crazy people because he's crazy.
That's what makes him compelling. And a lot of people don't really realize that Batman could be a villain himself.
Is that? I think that name of that movie was Hide and Seek, where Robert De Niro was the bad guy and the good guy.
I forgot all about that damn movie.
Oh wow! Is this one of the 2019 Sopranos?
Nah, that was a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, guys. On that note, I think this episode is finished. We went from 2019 recap, streaming wars. You got a brief preview into our arguments about comics and why Superman is trash.
That's what nerds do, man. That's how we talk.
That's how it goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. It is a new year.
2020.
Whatever plans, goals, decisions that need to be made for your own growth, just get started. That's all it takes. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode. We out.